Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Empyrion Galactic Survival again. I've done several videos on this lately, and I'm quite enjoying it. The alpaca is joining me. Here he is, in his very handsome get-up. I'm liking your colours, not like mine at all. But we're looking to do a little bit of creative building today, which does give us. Oh, I can hear you already starting. I just heard a ka-thunk. What a creative build allows you to do is it allows you to not concern yourself with resources and build anything to your heart's desire. Now, I've got a bit of an idea as to what kind of I'd like to do, and I'll just show you here. I want to base whatever design I do on this fine fellow here, which is it's from Dreadnought, and it's one of their is it their destroyer design? Yeah, there you go, medium destroyers. I really like the look of this ship, and I think I can very roughly emulate the shape. I don't think I can get it perfect, because Empyrion doesn't give me the blocks I want for that, but I'll certainly have a go, and I think we can come up with something that looks quite nice regardless. So that should be fun. That music is louder than I expected. Oh yeah, get that turned down. And what are you thinking of going for?
Well, I've had a few custom builds on the go. I'm playing right now on a Star Wars kind of themed server, so I've been trying to take workshop items and transform them into more Star Wars-esque builds.
I like it.
At the moment, I'm kind of working on this almost like a Millennium Falcon Scout style.
Oh, nice.
It more centered, but transforming it into more of like a YT, I'm trying to remember the actual model number, but it's the one where the entire ship is sideways as opposed to like teardropped forward.
I see.
Yeah, more like
have you already started work on this?
Yes, I have actually.
Oh, paste it in. We'll have a quick look before I start trying to do anything.
All right. Well, I have two. I have what the original ship was, and it's actually a really nice model off of the workshop. So this is it right here. So
okay, let's take a peek. Yeah,
fine.
I'll come out your way. I better say hello to a couple of people while you're pasting that in. Jim, hello. Ceres, I know you were here early. I love it. Lorondel and Stephen, how you doing? Smegheads beware. Rimmer is here. He doesn't need a Zimmer. So, how's the sound for everyone? Is it all behaving itself, and can you hear me okay? Can you hear the alpaca okay, more importantly? He's the star of the show. Look at him.
Ta-da!
Wait, have you pasted it?
For some reason, I'm trying to, but it's saying that I can't. The image that I'm seeing is hilarious. I really wish you could see the spawn. I see the ship, and then I see everything that's supposed to be inside the ship everywhere else but inside the ship.
Do you know, somebody was saying that the other day. Was it you, actually?
No, this is the first time it's happened to me.
Yeah, somebody was definitely saying that the other day, that was an issue. Have you upgraded to the latest experimental version, perhaps?
I have not.
You haven't? Okay. I thought that might be the problem, but there you go, that's poo-pooed that one.
I'll try, I'll just pop right out of your server and then I'll jump right back in. Hopefully that fixes it.
Okay. Well, I'll get out of the gravity radius of this lovely place here. We go over this way a little bit. What? Is it possible to jump out of a ship so it falls? Uh-oh.
That was my bad. I clicked on the wrong button.
Oh, you'd like me to watch your broadcast? Happy to do so. Should we just watch yours and I'll chill?
We'll do an Inception stream. You're streaming, watching my streaming, your stream.
It is possible to jump out of a small ship and have it careen into the atmosphere of a world. There isn't such a thing as block damage at the moment caused by heat or by impact. So what you'd probably find is if you jump out of your ship and it careened into the atmosphere, it would land somewhere on the planet quite safely, and you could just, you could get into the atmosphere. You'd probably die on impact, because impact does hurt you. It just doesn't hurt ships at the moment. I think it's going to in the future. Hey, ODS Debug, how you doing? Right, I should place the base block for my ship. I think here is probably going to be acceptable. So it's always facing away from what I remember. So let's just kind of place it here. There you go. So that's the new capital vessel block. Not much to look at this point, and it probably won't be by the end of the stream, knowing me. So what you can then do is you can then get your standard blocks. They come in squares natively. If you press right click, you have a plethora of options with which you can create shapes. So for example, if I wanted a little leany bit on the front here, which I don't, but I could do so. It's a little bit like Space Engineers in some ways, the building system, but it's markedly different in the regard that you can only swap the direction of your blocks in one way at once. For example, right now, you can see that green line going from north to south on that block. I could only move that round there. What I would then do is I use the N key to do that, by the way. I would use the delete key to change the angle of movement, and then I can spin it round there, and once again. So it's a little bit of a different build system, but it's a system that works fairly robustly once you get used to it. It's okay, the ground stopped my fall. Let's get rid of these blocks that I probably shouldn't have placed. Oh, hello, Alpaca.
So it finally worked.
Was it over here?
Spawned in. Yes, it's over here.
Let's take a look. See what you've got. A Whitey Scout.
So this is a workshop.
Let's just take a look. Can you still hear me well? Uh-oh. We should theoretically be back, guys. Have a refresh if the stream isn't behaving itself for you.
Well, at least it's not me.
There you go. I've just shouted at everybody to refresh. That should help. I hope. No, it's something on my end. It may just be the fact that my CPU is going to blow up. So this is the YT Scout that you're currently working on.
Well, that's the base, what I decided to use to create the ship that I'm attempting to create. It's a beautiful little scout that was, as far as I know, is a custom build. I don't recall seeing that in any kind of Star Wars. I
certainly don't think it's canon.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it is a custom build of someone's. I really wish I could give them credit on this, but I just can't remember their name. But it's a beautiful thing. Check it out. It's I think it's called the YT Scout.
Ooh, it's got an auto. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's just a really nice little ship. So what I noticed was that the general shape of it kind of looked like the YT ship, where the side of it, kind of from right here, curls out this way, and almost out to here, and the cockpit kind of sits over here where I'm standing. Oh,
I've got inside. I'll come back out.
Oh.
I got overexcited. I'm sorry, Av.
Alright. That's alright.
I'm back with you. I'm back with you.
Can you see my little blue lightning there? Yeah?
I can. I'm next to you.
Okay, so from roughly about here, it continues out to like here, and the cockpit sits over here. And it's like a YT that it flies on its side almost. So
that's interesting.
Kind of remake it. It looks kind of like a B-wing, if you can think of it, like when it's all folded up, when it flies sideways.
Right. Okay.
So I decided to try to kind of rebuild this ship into that, and I've at the moment, I've kind of shrunk it down to its core, and I'm in the process of building it out to the side. And I'll spawn that up right now.
Okay, I should let you know that Jim has christened this ship the Millennium Dildo.
So this is the ship kind of brought down to its core. I've left all of the components where they were, which are why they're sticking out like that, and I've shrunk the cockpit neck down into the center. And what I'm in the process of doing is building it out to the side while moving any kind of modules that were in the front off to the side, so that the general ship stays the same functionalities. It's just it looks different.
So there was really nothing at all in these little frontal segments here.
No, actually, yeah. It's you can see I can kind of open them up, and there's just the engines right there. So there's 2 engines,
which correspond with these ones, yeah. Yeah,
exactly, and then that's it. So it really helped me out with trying to bring.
Hey, Imagine, how you doing? It's actually quite interesting to see the way that they've set this up. They've got a lot of small generators on there. I mean, this is a small ship. This isn't a capital vessel. I hasten to add.
Yeah. Which the only unfortunate thing about it is, one, you won't be able to have gravity in space inside, which I really dislike that you can only have that on capitals.
It does seem silly, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then the second is that you can't place turrets. So the turret that you'd think would be on the top and bottom are actually, they're stationary. They can't turn. They're just firing like weapons, standard weapons.
Well, for Alpha 1 and 2, they kind of had a workaround for that, didn't they? You could attach a HV, a hover vessel, to a small vessel in some kind of bizarre way for the early Alpha segments, and that allowed them to create a little shell, stick a turret on it, and then attach it to a small vessel, and that worked.
Interesting.
It's a shame that we can't do it anymore.
Yeah. But here, I will link you in your Discord what I'm kind of aiming for, so you have a better idea of what I'm trying to design here.
Here we go. Hopefully I'll be able to get a picture of that, folks, so you guys can have an idea. Let's just find Discord. There you go. If you link it here. Oh, you showed me this one the other day. It was the kind of the drone YT.
Yeah, and you can see the core looks very similar to what the YT Scout looked like, so I figured I could use it to kind of build outward.
Yeah, I think I have seen one that's a little bit like this. It's called a YT Transport? Kind of, it's a lengthways YT. I do think I've seen one on the workshop.
Yeah, it's not, like, it's substantially bigger. I believe it's a capital ship.
It is.
It's quite hefty. I really like this one, just due to the sheer maneuverability of this little ship. I'll jump in and I'll give it a little fly around. You can see
have a little zip for me.
And how nice it. Yeah.
Which one are you going for?
The actual YT. That's
okay. All right. I'll just I'll stand on this one. Make sure I'm somewhere static. Oh, she's good.
Like, she's a really nice and nimble ship, very responsive, which is why I really liked it as a base from where I wanted to build from.
Where have you got to? I've lost you. Oh, did you try and shoot me, you monster? Majin says, could you fit some kind of gimbal on the turrets? No, you can't in this game, sadly. Not at the moment.
There are turrets in the game. They just don't. They're not designed to attach to this style ship.
Yeah, the small ships are designed to be fighters under normal circumstances. This is what, if you were a Space Engineers player, this is what you'd call a small ship gone wild. Whereas capital ships and bases, they've got turrets that look a little bit like this.
And hover vessels.
And hover vessels, yes, you're quite right. So you do have turrets, and they've got full range of movement. Well, fullish.
And they work autonomously. You don't actually have to fire them. They'll do it on their own and track targets.
That's
While
right.
those, you'll have to aim yourself, like by flying your ship, and physically have to pull the trigger.
But like in Space Engineers, you can take control of an individual turret if you choose to. This is what a normal small vessel would look like. So most people will build a small vessel of this kind of nature. Which is, yeah, I mean, I like it. But there's quite a hefty size differential between something that's like this and something that Alpaca's going for. So let's just, if I park this just above, zoom out. You can see there's a fairly significant size differential.
Yeah, and that's mainly from just having the internal space, right? Because that little fighter is just a cockpit, and then the ship of engines. While the YT here, it actually has an internal where you can sit, move around.
It's also oxygenated, isn't it? To my understanding. Well,
no, it is. It is.
At least it would be if we hadn't started taking chunks out of it.
Yes.
And oxygen certainly does play a part in this game. It's very simple compared to Space Engineers. In fact, it's something that I can probably show off. If I go to the debug menu and go show oxygen, show airtight blocks. Hopefully when I come over to this thing, it's going to give me an indication, I think.
Well, hang on, let me power it up. Yeah, okay, so the oxygen is running right now. So the inside is oxygenated.
So what happens here is oxygen decides whether it can fill a particular block or not based on whether the area as a whole is airtight. It is in this case, in spite of the fact that there's a hole here, there's a force field. And this is one of the ways that you can check it via debug. There's also a couple of other debug options like structural integrity, etc. Anything that is not airtight, you can tell because it doesn't have a big green blobby around it. It's the technical term, isn't it? Blobby?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is.
So there we go. Let's just turn those off because they're actually... There we are. And if you're building structures, so that would be bases on the ground, they are subject to an element of structural integrity. I don't think it's been very well worked on at the moment. I think they've just implemented a basic format because structural integrity in Empyrion at the moment is a little bit, well, dorky really. It certainly doesn't work well. You get random things just flying off your building if structural integrity gets wind of a window. So that's certainly something that they're going to need to work on. Right, I think what I might do is I might just go over to my little CV and start thinking about how I can block this out. And hopefully I'll be able to come back to you in a little bit. I hope you like the music, guys. I've just I've chosen a random playlist from Epidemic Sound that suggested it might be relaxed. If you don't, tell me, and I'm sure I can make arrangements to change it. Right, let's tab out for a minute and work out exactly what we want to do. I think we should probably just take what we've got right now as... Jim says he's ashamed of his last comment. It doesn't look like a dildo at all. He's checked. And he couldn't see any knackers. He didn't say this at all, by the way. I just... But no, he would like to confirm that it doesn't look like a dildo, so please don't concern yourself. Oh, here we go. Stephen House is talking about the classic Legends YT-2000 light freighter. The one YT ship where you don't guess if the side will fit. Which I think that's the one that I was talking about, the sideways one. Let's just take a look. Oh no, it's not. No, that is the dildo.
Yes.
The drildo. But there is another YT that's sideways. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Yeah, I know there is. It was in one of the, I think, KOTOR movies or show ones. Not the Ebon Hawk, but I think the other one. Let me just check it out here.
You've set me off on one now. There's one here, which is the 2400, but it's not the one I was thinking of. There's a couple of non-canon ones as well. Like this non-canon. No, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't start an argument. This one, which I really like, the YT 2600. This is alpha. I certainly wouldn't call it a beta at this point because they're not feature complete. They haven't done everything that they wanted to do yet. Yeah, it is the YT 2400 I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that is the one that I was thinking of as well. And it will look something similar, but obviously with that cluster of engines on the side that I kind of liked. At least that was my goal, to try to stick to that one image and see if I can do that.
Right, let's try and work out what I can do here. Well, I think given that this is relatively flat, there is a slight upsurge about midway along, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace back lots and lots of blocks and then probably start working on the engine cluster first and foremost. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way for me to work, so let's... Oh, help if I'd look where I was going. What's going on here? What? Ah. I've done bad.
What'd you do?
I forgot that I'd already selected some kind of triangular doom block.
Oh.
Now, I'm not sure how many blocks long I want this to be. By virtue of the fact that whatever I build, it can't be anywhere near as long as the real thing. Desh Rendar's Outrider. He's one of the bounty hunters, isn't he, Desh Rendar? From what I remember, he's what they now call legends. Is that right? Joseph Burton says, "I've got a bad feeling about this." But there we go. I think we want it a little longer than that again. It could probably be longer, but I think that'll do. Nah, we're going to go longer again. Right. So, based on where we're at, I think we can have the large engine sitting behind this, and then we can build a little plate moving upwards, and then we'll build two large sub-engines just to the side of it. If I click 4... I should have a humongous engine block. Whoop. Oh my. That is definitely humongous. There you go, my ship's finished.
Well, that was quick.
Right, okay, so given that engine block's overall size, it basically needs to be an outlier. It needs to be right to there, so the next two engine blocks, they'd be a little bit lower and then going to start further inside. So this is, how many blocks long do we reckon? 2, 3. That's 7 blocks. So let's go down, say 3 blocks. And then come forward a little bit. These are all kind of preliminary. I should be doing mirroring here, but I'm not. The Dune film. That is a very good film. So based on what I could see, they were situated probably about here. Up one, up, up, up. I'm going to have to do a lot of filling in and messing around with the shapes. But what I want to do is I want to get the engine placement roughly correct based on the model. Because it just gives us something easy to work from. I do feel that they should be further away. Let's get them further away. Maybe 2 blocks out. That's going to give me enough room to put that little surround around the existing engine. I said 2 blocks. There we are. We'll just have to grab a couple more of those. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit closer to where we want to be. And those 2 blocks should give me just enough room to do something that looks a little bit like this once I come round to it. Now, down to the right, we've got some smaller engines, which I think they're less of a problem. Do you know what? Do you know what we're going to do, folks? We're going to put mirroring on. Otherwise, it's all going to go wrong. Symmetry plane, XZ, and... It's just actually... Oh, it is central. Damn, I'm good. Are you a big fan overall of Star Wars?
I enjoy all things sci-fi. I don't like to designate myself to a favorite of any one specific thing over any other. I get you. But I grew up with Star Trek. I used to watch all of the TNG episodes in the original series with my dad, so that is a big part of my life, and I would say that beyond all else is my favorite. But I love anything space, anything sci-fi.
Good answer. I think the fans were like that because I think a lot of people are here because of Star Trek originally. So I think most people like Trek to get a shout out. I don't think it gets as much love as it used to.
No, it definitely doesn't, especially with the new stuff. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the new stuff, and yeah, you can hate me for that, but I don't know. It doesn't have the same. What's the word I'm looking for? The same
sex appeal.
Well, yeah, that, but this Shakespearean theme to it. You know, it's not dramatic in the same over-the-topness that it used to be.
No, I can appreciate that.
It takes itself way too seriously, and it loses something in that.
Does that create a second one? No, of course it doesn't. I only had one, and it didn't like that. As far as rear engines go, I think that's going to be close enough to the overall engine setup. Oh God, I've gone into the Galaxy map. One thing I could do, just in order to show them off a little bit better, is go to devices, grab a couple of fuel tanks, grab a little generator. Just plonk these down somewhere here for the moment. Oh no. I grabbed the wrong fuel tanks. I just go to components, I can grab myself infusion cells, fill her up. It's not enough to get her going, I have to turn her on. Hey. Turn the symmetry plane to nothing for a moment. So that's the rear engine setup and what they're going to look like. Most of the other engines in this ship I think are probably going to end up being internal, which it's not an ideal solution because eventually they're probably going to put block damage in. But for the time being, it's not going to be a problem. Ooh, I've got a couple of people saying, bring in that floating fat man. What? How's things? Why does this soundtrack sound so Star Trek-y? I think it's probably because we were talking about Star Trek. You tend to build associations very quickly in the mind, don't you? And anything that sounds a little bit sci-fi, if you're talking Trek, it sounds Trek.
Yep, definitely.
Joseph Burton, providing an unusual opinion, says, I want them to do a second season of Star Trek Discovery. I love that series. Well, I'm very pleased that you did. I think there are some very mixed opinions about the series. I really didn't like it to start with. I was very, very negative about it, and probably unreasonably so. I've warmed to it. It's probably still not my favourite thing in the world, but I have warmed to it a great deal. Okay, I think what I need to do now is I probably need to decide how far I need to come in from these engines, come downwards, because this is going to be my entry and exit ramp. I'm going to have a little door down here in my version. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be going forward from those engines to maybe about here. And we need to come down about 5-6 blocks. How far underneath the engines is that? A little more, because we've still got to build that space around the engines. We'll go one more. Need to get a door. Maybe shutters. Yeah, we'll do shutters. Also need a ramp of some. Not necessarily useful until later, but there, here we are. Alright, 4. That's all, it's a personal entrance, don't need to mess around with it too hard. And the bottom I want to be fairly thin, so if I make this from half blocks, this very underneath segment, I don't want to do it from walls because they don't have the durability. And we do of course need to go forward at least a little bit, and then what I can do is I can come out. Yeah, just one is fine. Find the ramp bottom B. Now, this could pose a bit of a problem here. It's not going to do exactly what I want it to. Actually, maybe that will work. We put it like so as the come back here. I know it doesn't look identical, folks, but does it need to? Could make this a full block. Let's try it. It's always foolish when you don't try things, isn't it?
Very true.
Bring this down. That would be our entrance. If we come out 2 blocks here. How steep a slope do we want, folks? Don't think I want it to be quite that steep, so perhaps this steep is about right. Seems too steep, doesn't it? Don't think we've got anything that's any shallower than that. Unless we make use of the bottom ramp from here. Which gives it a bit of a wiggle, but... Whoops. Cardis are his favourite non-human empire, says Jim. I like that. You like the Saratoga design? Good. Space Above and Beyond was really good. I think it was a bit simplistic at times. I feel like the Chigs were almost cartoon villains. There was no complexity to them. I think I was happier with them being half blocks. I don't know about you folks. Sorry, I know I'm doing this a million times. You can also hold control if you want to go a little bit further as well and do several blocks on the trot, as they say. Like that. There's got to be some kind of angle that allows me to come down at a reasonable... Well, that's definitely not it.
It's annoying that there's like, yeah, you have blocks of certain types, but then they don't transfer through to the same types of other blocks.
Like
we have a bunch of angled and blocks that have like almost a square bottom to them. So they're square, they go up about half a block and then they angle up. So like a pyramid on a little stand. And then you have curved ones that should match up with that, but you don't have any curves that sit on a little square or a little like cylinder. And it's really frustrating.
It is. That is one of the main frustrations that most of us have with this game. Just do that. That's fine. That's a lip I'll accept. Well, I'm trying to build a destroyer from Dreadnought. I'm in the very, very super duper earliest ever stages of doing so. And at this point, I'm sat here thinking, is this going to be too large of a gap? I don't know yet, which is worrying. Let's see how much room we have to make in the engine segment. Okay. Now, as I say, it's never going to be 100% accurate, which is sad. But let's suggest that I wanted to make a shape that gives me some kind of nice clearance around these engines. And we utilise the shapes that we have available to us. Oh, got some kind of pirate theme on the go. I'm liking it. You know what I've done?
No.
Or more so what I haven't done. I turned bleeding Symmetry off, didn't I? And how many of you warned me? Not one. Who was I relying on? You guys.
That might have been mistake number one.
I think it was.
I mean, it could have been worse. You could have tried relying on me, and then all sorts of issues would have happened.
Well, you've got your own version of Symmetry anyway, haven't you? I think they call it not.
Yeah.
Ah! Right, so there's a little surround for that segment of the engines, which is fine. That gives us that kind of curve, and then we kind of need to curve up diagonally into the hull of the ship. That's fine. I use the term fine loosely. Maybe that diagonal one wants to be this. I think it does. Ah. I will be filling in all these holes at some point, folks. Midnight Storm 13 says, I wish all games like this and Space Engineers would use the same system as Avorion. Avorion's a great game, where you can stretch any block to the scale that you want. You can do that in Avorion, yes. Avorion in some ways is a little bit simpler, but it is a fantastic game. It's really, really good. One thing that Avorion does a little bit differently is it control surfaces and things like that, they're not necessarily a specific size block, so you could get kind of an energy storage segment and you could stretch that out to the size you want, which would change how much energy your ship could store and things like that. Or at least that's how it was a couple of versions ago. You should play more Dreadnought? Ah, well, I'm always happy to play Dreadnought. I find it's a very easy game to stream, because you can get into it very fast. So, yeah, you just tell me when you want me to play Dreadnought, and I'm, based on the theory that I'm awake, I'm more than happy to do so. So we've got that. We now need to create these shapes here. I haven't really got much of an idea about. So I could technically use curves, but it's not quite right, is it? You seen any diagonal walls? Is that a thing?
Diagonal walls.
Yeah.
How do you mean?
Walls what are diagonal?
Well, there's a few ways you can interpret that. Here, let me take it. Come over here and take a look over here trying to build.
I think what I could do is, I'm just trying to create an overall shape which conforms, very roughly speaking, Well, it needs to be flat on the top, so, or flattish. I think we're looking at a bit of the old half-block magic again. Which isn't magic, half-blocks actually ruin things more than they help.
Okay, so whereabouts are you trying to get around? What are you trying to do with this wall?
Well, I was hoping I could have a sticky outy wall which was diagonal. You see the, let's turn the light on down here. You see these bits that stick out here? Right. Do you know what I'll do just to make our lives easier? There. What I was hoping for is to get something that was a little bit like... that, but diagonal. Well, not like that. Not in midair. Like that.
Diagonal across the block?
A shape that's this thickness in the shape of this. But I don't think such a thing exists, does it? We do have some sloped walls, but they're not the same.
No.
That's something I do think we're missing.
Thing would be like to take the so from where your sloped wall is, or from the wall you just put, if you go like 2 over, actually, there's thin slope.
Go on, you have a go. Have a pop at it.
Alright, I have to change my blocks. I'm doing a small ship here.
Oh, sorry.
You're doing combat steel?
Oh no, I just destroyed my engine. Everything is ruined.
What's the style here? Yeah, combat steel. Okay.
For the time being, I'm probably going to strip some of the combat steel out ultimately, because it's going to be too heavy for what I want it for.
Like that.
Full stop greebling. Oh, I've been told to stop greebling. Oh, just like that. How'd you manage that then?
It's called thin slope, and if you look on the menu, it's right below the weird, like, roundish cube to the right, and just above the curved hollow.
Well, damn me, it is there. This is precisely what I wanted. Yes, folks, I will stop greebling. When hell freezes over! Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do, because it allows me to put different textures on the inside and outside, which is precisely what I want to do.
Well, the alpaca saves the day again.
And he's modest, folks.
There
we go. That'll do for the time being. It's imperfect, but it's fine. I'm sorry about all the greebling. I can see that one of you, I'm sorry, you've gone up there now, so I can't see who it was who asked. Red Level 360 asked, is Dreadnought any good? I've always been a little bit curious. Well, I believe it's free to play, if I'm right. So, yeah, get into it. It's very, very easy to pick up, and you can play it just kind of straight off the bat. You know, it's like a click of the fingers almost. Very, very easy to pick up. Let's get rid of these. Now that we know that we can make our little diagonals, we could potentially even use a wall here. And if we need to, we can create a further overhang in that segment. I know you're all going to be like supremely concerned about these little bits here, but don't worry, we can fill those in later with one of these, I think. Or mostly fill them in. And this thing is so massive anyway that it didn't really matter. Oh, hang on. There's probably something else I can do. That's too big. There's bound to be something. We'll worry about that later. Sorry, was the stream lagging for you? It's Alpaca coming over and doing things.
That's right. Blame me for all your problems.
It's important that I do. Look, you know how it is. Right now, there are things occurring in the United Kingdom. We've got Donald Trump over here, so what better way to celebrate his visit than to blame a Canadian for things? Gul, once you've completed the ship, says Joseph, you should use that one and then get another one, a dreadnought from Star Trek, Star Wars, wherever, and put them in a battle. Maybe we will. I shouldn't think my ship will win. Ships that I make rarely win anything, particularly beauty contests. They definitely don't win those. Right, let's see where we were at. I am very, very concerned that that was too long, but since there's supposed to be a big old turret under here, maybe we can get away with it. And that means that we need a bit more room under here. Let's just make some bricks. Kind of here. Oi! And that bit's getting on my wick, so I'm going to fill it in. There are 2 turrets. I don't think I want to concern myself with that. Oh, I could actually. I have a plan. So what I could do is I could use something like a plasma turret there. And then above it we could place something small, like a smaller, like a minigun turret. Let's see how that looks. So 5 is for the plasma turret. It's the minigun turret. Pay no attention to the man behind the mask. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Plasma turret there. There's a sentry turret that I could make use of out here. So we'll let that go for the moment. We'll have another think about it. That looks better. While I don't mind a bit of good-natured joshing, I certainly don't want people arguing about politics in the channel. No, that would be bad. I think everybody has their opinions, and people often jealously guard their own opinions. So let's see what everyone's saying. The art of debate is putting your opinion across without offending anybody else. I think it's something of a lost art these days, but...
Well, it doesn't help that everyone's offended by everything.
You're not wrong. That does seem to be a bit of a problem at the moment. I think a lot of people are automatically offended as opposed to first trying to understand why the person has the opinion that they do. It's not always the case, mind, but perhaps more than it should be. A lot of people have opinions that I vehemently disagree with, but I think it's a point of courtesy to try and understand why they might have formed the opinions that they have. Because without understanding the basis of an opinion, how can you possibly hope to rationally combat it?
You're making a very large assumption that anyone is actually rational.
Yes, I am. I very much am. I haven't seen it, Sanis. I haven't seen it. I'm about 3 episodes behind. I really hope that I'll be able to watch it over the next couple of days. I'm sure I will take the opportunity to totally legally download The Expanse and watch it. Have you watched any of The Expanse, Alpaca?
The Expanse. Which one's that one again? Like, what's the premise?
Big bada boom booms in space. Mars, Earth. Mars and Earth are squaring off, and then there's a group called the Beltas.
No, I have not started watching that one yet.
Oh my, you should.
I have a long list of things that I want to watch.
I think you should probably place this towards the head of your list. I recognise that you work all the hours God gives, but
not even that. It's mainly my daughter. She's
of course she's
very tiny and very needy.
Bless her.
Not that I have an issue with that.
I was going to say you'll be told off if you complain.
Oh, I definitely do not complain. I quite enjoy the neediness. And I'm going to take advantage of it all now while I have a chance before she doesn't want to even see me anymore.
I'm sure that will never happen, said every dad, said every dad ever.
Yeah.
Got caught into the trap of greebling again. This is never ever going to be finished. I'm sorry, guys. An engine there as well. And season 4, if it follows the book, it will be absolutely flipping awesome, says Sanis. Well, I haven't read the books either. I know I'm disgusting, aren't I?
I wouldn't say that.
Imagine Boris Johnson as... Oh, Boris Johnson has been an MP. And depending on how you look at the world, he may have been good or may have not been. Would be very wrong of me to espouse any political opinions here, so I will not do so. Unless people want that. Right then. I think I'm fairly happy with the way that this is shaping up. There's a lot of politics going on in the chat, folks. What's all this about? And Boris Johnson was also the, rather bizarrely, the Mayor of London. That's a fair amount to give away, Sanis. We've been here. How long have we been here now? An hour, and I've done nothing but greeble some engines. That's it. That's all I've done. How do you feel about that, Alpaca?
I feel a little bit better about my situation then.
I thought you were going to say disappointed in my very existence. Which would be a viable and reasonable thing. Lord knows I am. Right, let's just fill these segments in. In fact, we'll fill in around the front of this engine as well. Although it's technically airtight, just gives us an idea of what the usable space will be. Go. Let's put that in there. Was ist das? Vinny Bravo is informing that his loading screen keeps sticking at 5% structures. Oh, oops, sorry matey. It's alright, Vinny. It's not a problem. I didn't realise I was technical help. Halo Infinite, thoughts? Interesting designs. And Nodeare Naben says, "Oh shit, I can't read it. I'm sorry." Can anybody tell me what our good friend is saying in foreign? Sanis, I'd love to play some Dreadnought with you. I'm more than happy to do so. As you know, evening times are always better, my schedule-wise, but I try and free myself up as much as I possibly can. Now we've got that little engine block in there, let's just try and work out what we want to do here. We need to raise a segment above the engine block. I'm going to ignore that engine at the top. It's not necessary. Okay. Well, we've already started that flow a little bit, so why not continue with the flow, kind of flare out a little bit here. Whoops. And then we can utilise this to continue that flare. There you go, I like that. So that gives us that little overhang over to the top of the engine. Need to bring it forward a few pieces and then go up again. We go forward about another 2, and then we're going to come up 1, 2, 4, 3. And then, once again, we're going to come back and out. Just a couple of blocks. Probably like this. So that'll create that shape. And then we'll bring it round, and then we'll slowly slope it down to this level. Hopefully ending about here. But before I do anything else on my ship, let's go and have a look and see what's going on with alpacas.
Uh-oh.
Why come up with a wheel if it's already created? Because it hasn't been created in this game before. Thank you very much for translating. Right, so how are we doing?
Not too bad. In the process of trying to just kind of get the form.
I found a way into his ship. I'm going to steal everything. I can't get back out. This was a classic Schmosby. Oh no. Oh hello.
Hi, here, I'll mine you. Oh, there you go.
So let's see. You're still wanting to come in this direction, aren't you? Giggity. Have I told you before that you can hold shift and right click on any block if you've got a block in your hand and it will delete it?
Yeah, but I like to keep my blocks, then I can put them back.
Order.
I must have all the blocks.
Oh god, it looks a mess from over here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're over there. It's quite interesting.
Don't worry about it. It's working as intended. Although a lot of blocks don't render in until later, do they? So it's kind of like when you get close by, it starts to. No, it doesn't make any more sense than it did to start with. Damn me, I love this music. I'm never going to get something that unpronounced. That's a word. So we'll come forward 2 more. I need to know what song this is. It's so good. Wars Galaxies by Dragon Tamer. Okay, cool. It's like all my fantasies of being Darth Vader rolled into one. It's so good. Yes, it is of 8. My apologies. Flavor is cheap. That's about as much information as I can give you, I'm afraid. It's going to be where the bridge sits, folks. Does that want to be Windows? Nah. There you go, the bridge will sit there. And yes, folks, I was that one kid that wanted to be Darth Vader, not Luke Skywalker. As far as I was concerned, Luke Skywalker was a chump. Everyone's going to be so angry with me. Hate mail for decades. Just remember, if you're mad, I can't be blamed for that. Johnny SC says, well, he is. All he does is cry and whinge throughout the first film. It seems to be a common theme among the protagonists.
One thing I like is, I don't remember where I read it, but it was actually quite amusing. They're talking about how, at the end of Star Wars, the Return of the Jedi, where Vader picks up Emperor Palpatine and throws him down that shaft.
Oh, and gives him a good lobbing, yeah.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, he found the light side, he found his humanity again, he returned to the light side and all that lovely stuff. When in reality, if you really think about it, and you think of the true essence of Darth Vader, and in retrospect, him being Anakin Skywalker, at that exact moment, that is what he did was literally the most dramatic thing he could have done. So it had nothing to do with the fact that he was being better or going back to the light side. It was that he was being a pure Anakin Skywalker in that moment. This is the most dramatic I could possibly make this situation. I'm going to throw you over the edge.
Maybe that's just what it was. We'll never know.
No, we will not.
Well, at least, not until George Lucas tells us what he intended. Which I'm sure he will at some point. Because my faith has never dimmed. Oh, I'm sure there's a way I can do this. Ah! This is another one of these really arsey shapes. Keep being brought back to this one, but I just can't see this as being right. It's no good for us. That would be the only way to do it, but that brings it down to a taper, and I don't want that. We'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, good enough. Hello, Tozzy. How you doing, my man? Obi-Wan all the way. Captain Piet. Right. Window. Windock. I'm going to make some changes to the original design here because I want massive windows. That seems reasonable, doesn't it? A slight overhang on this window. Yeah, I like it. And then if we flip this up, then let's see how it fancies this. I think that's probably going to be ample bridge space. Should somewhere on here be a corner 1x2, shouldn't there? Give that a bit of that. Sense a problem is going to occur here. That is a problem. Yeah, we can't have those. Right, so let's see if we get decent view from the bridge segment. What do you reckon? I think that's going to be good enough once we got some texturing and lighting in here. I think that'll work as a piece of bridge. Let's just get this little bit sorted out. Oh, that was a really good musical track again. I should probably check what that one was called for you. It's called... Oh, well, it's gone. It's called Battle of Wills by John Bjork. There you go. Alright, we're sneaking over for another look and to see what's going on over here, Alpaca.
Oh, it's not going much better.
What do you mean much? I'm having a great time. Oh, you're getting somewhere now. It's getting that shape profile, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting there. It's just I can't get the blocks to be as round as I want them to be, and it definitely needs that for this style of ship.
I think the only way that you can get that roundness is by having an oversized chip.
I know, and I don't know. I really didn't want to go much bigger than this.
I think it's fine the way it is. I mean, I particularly like. Have you given yourself the opportunity to zoom out a little bit further?
Yeah, I'm kind of moving out. Yeah.
Well, I think it's fine. I think people will recognise it for what it is, and I think that's the important bit. They're not going to recognise mine because I've just changed the entire bridge design because I wanted to. Always said Voyager looked like a spoon. Ah, she had a point. She did very much have a point. Right, let's take a look and see what I was pretending I was going to replicate. Yeah, that's theoretically what I was supposed to be going for, and it's not what I've done at all. I can bring these sides down now. So I will do that. They'll be coming out here, of course. Probably be doing that with this shape. Oh, every time I look at my design, all those years in design school for nothing! I can feel all my colleagues experiencing Schadenfreude now! Schadenfreude is, or Schadenfreude, it's one of my favourite words. It doesn't really have an equal in the English language. It's a German word, and it means to take pleasure from the misfortune of others. What a magnificent word. Schadenfreude.
It's like a daily feeling for me.
It's just such a magnificent phrase. Typically, I don't. I feel too much inherent British guilt in order to be able to, you know, take pure pleasure from the misfortune of others. It's very difficult being a Brit. It's exhausting work.
Try being Canadian and being sorry for your own existence.
I don't think the Canadians are nearly as sorry as we expect them to be. Right. Did Gul just turn into Einstein from Red Alert? Yes, yes, I did. The nearest English word would be soap opera, says Midnight Storm. Okay, so now comes the inherent difficulty. Either we can go directly outwards. I think from that point onwards we'll just go directly downwards. So we'll bring that out. And then I think it's more than likely that a block of this shape will fit somewhere. Put up their asses!
Whoa, no.
As you can tell, I'm not having any difficulty whatsoever. And I'm just glad we talked about it. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, I turned mirror off again. I'm just... Oh, shit. It'll be fine. I can mirror a piece. I think. I'm trying to work out what I want to do with this segment, because there's an inherent problem with this segment in that it's very, very difficult to get a piece that goes diagonally down like this, but doesn't stick flat at the top. And vice versa. So what I've chosen to do is I've chosen to come out a particular amount, and then we'll go down diagonally to this point back here. So that's it's a compromise, but it's a compromise that's just going to have to do. No compromises. No surrender. Except this time. So theoretically, that's going to work. I know it's not exactly what we wanted. But at least it gives the core that extra element of armour. I think what I will do is these segments here. I'll whoop, do that with them. Should we go down one more layer? Let's go down one more layer. Rico's Roughnecks. Right, now we should be able to utilise a selection tool here. Shit, I don't know how to do this at all. Something like that. Right, so if we take these segments, I can then copy it. Now there's a paste option here, so there's my paste. I should be able. Do something with it. I don't suppose you remember how I can mirror things, do you?
I didn't even know you could.
Oh!
I do everything by hand, the old-fashioned way.
That is troubling. I genuinely thought I could mirror this. Maybe I can't, folks. Smooth that. Oh no. You go over there, selection. And let's just put mirroring back on. Sadly, I think what we're going to have to do is wonder why we can't move anymore.
Did you accidentally hit J so you can't move? Your thrusters are off.
No. Oh, there we go. It just sorted itself out. Most bizarre. Well, folks, looks like we've got the arduous task of recreating exactly what we did, with no memory of doing it, on the other side. But you can't wait to watch me do that, can you? Sorry, guys. Should have used the mirror tool. Don't be mad. How much further does that one go out? That looks about right. I'm going to presume I did something profound and fantastic here. Something that looked very much like this. And they called me mad. They said it couldn't be done. In wild theory, both sides should be the same. And by golly, I think they are. Good night, Sanis. You sleep well. Would be mad if I hadn't made that mistake myself 9 million times. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. I do it fairly regularly. Alright, so what I can now do is I can concentrate on building kind of like my core down here, my engine room, etc. So, like with that now complete, it allows me a fairly good idea as to how far outwards I can come. That'll effectively be, I can come outwards a fair bit this way. Don't know about this. That's good. I actually quite like that segmented armour. But surprisingly, that works for me. This offensive noise must stop. What do I do about that bit? Yeah, that'll do. The wife's been home, and there is now a list. All right, Jim, you better go. You better go complete that list. I know what happens when we do not comply. They are orders that must be obeyed at all times. You get her done. Nice to have you here, my friend. I don't think my end result is going to be anything like the ship I intended to design. Yep. Identical, right? 10 out of 10. These are going to need to be flat regardless. So we've used this, we've come out to about here, so I probably need about another... Oh, I'm not sure why that was, my apologies. Sometimes it does happen, sometimes my speeds will go up and down a little bit. It's something that is sadly unavoidable. Hey, Kiryu. It's not your connection, I suspect. It's mine, Tozzo. There you go, just in case we need to get out back there. Right, folks, I need to go and answer the call of nature, so I'm going to spend 5 minutes away from the screen. I'll stick you in the be right back screen, and we'll be back soon. See you in a moment. Hello folks, I have returned and I have a cup of coffee and I had an idea. This. I thought, you know what, we may as well try and increase the utility of our ship by making sure we get some nice cavernous hangar bays. Clearly there's nothing down there at the moment, but we need to ascertain the... Where have you gone?
Hmm?
Where have you gone?
I threw in the flag. Just the mechanics of the blocks just don't want to work with for that build. It's just there's too many slopes and too many curves, and the blocks do not like to work. The side wing is just way too long to be able to be accommodated by the blocks. Unfortunately, for the ship size.
So you're gonna try something else, or?
Yes, I am. There is another workshop item that I had my eye on, and I am going to actually see about just trying to strip some of the stuff off of it to make it spawnable in a multiplayer game. It is the Pinnacle.
Oh my gravy!
Or Penance.
See, this is what people who are good at the game can do, folks.
Yeah, this is not what I can do. But this ship is a capital ship, and it is a class size 7.
It's a pinnace, isn't it?
Yes, pinnace. Class size 7.
Geonosian.
Makes it just slightly too large for what I can use in my game.
Oh, are you limited to something that small?
7 is the max, so if I got it down just 1, I'm good. But I think it's more of the amount of turrets. I think they actually have too many turrets on it compared to what's supposed to be for the server.
And as you can see, one thing that's really nice about Empyrion is, well, Alpaca was able to spawn this in with 0 lag. She's a very, very attractive ship. How'd you get in?
She is. Well, I definitely found the issue of why I couldn't spawn it in game, because I'm pretty sure that server can spawn in up to either class 7 or class 10. But it is maxing out. It has 10 plasma turrets and 10 pulse turrets, which the maximum for either of those in a multiplayer game is 6.
I think the pulse turrets is 6. I'm not sure about plasma is also 6.
So I just got to figure out which ones I want to remove, and I am good. It is a very nice looking ship, I have to say that much.
Warp core. Some RCS. These are the things that allow the ship to turn, folks. This looks like a lift block. Up we go. So as you can see, this is what competent people do, and this is ultimately what I want to achieve, and why I'm bothering to try and build things in spite of the fact that I'm not yet competent. I think I will be eventually.
Yeah, I tend to favor on the side of taking ships that somebody else designs and then tweaking and making them a little bit better.
Ooh, that's a very big hangar bay. I like it.
Ooh, where? Oh yeah, there's the hangar.
It's in fact, I think there are going to be 2. It looks like there's likely one the other side as well.
Oh yeah, look at all this cargo.
This is nicely made. I really like the texturing that they've done. Pop. Very nice. They've used a lot of decorative blocks very, very nicely in this as well.
Some front-facing windows.
Medbay? Hey, Brian. Well, we're doing okay, thanks. This looks to be the main bridge. Bit of a faff to get to, mind.
Yeah, the interior, as much as I like the interior, I'll probably end up redesigning it if I'm going to use this in my multiplayer game, but just to get some more usability out of the interior. But I would say no, actually. It looks like the that hangar is that one side only.
Interesting.
Which I would personally, I think
you'd probably open it up.
Yeah, like I think if I'm not mistaken, that hangar is roughly about here. There it is. All right. Yeah, I'd actually open it up and I'd put a door on either side. Definitely.
And that's something you'd be capable of doing?
That's what I'm going about to do right now, just so you can see.
I'd like to get outside the ship, but I did a bad thing and I don't know where I am anymore. Or indeed who. Oh yeah, why not have a dual-facing one? Doesn't seem to be a compelling reason not to, does there?
Nope.
Probably some kind of lore reason. I didn't find a way up to the main bridge. I feel like there's a lot of places within this ship that we haven't been to yet. Love it. Right, I'll let you continue on that.
Alright.
While I just have a quick think about this. Oh. My warning bee's telling me I've been live for 2 hours. Which means I've got to end the stream shortly, I'm afraid. With regards to cargo space, I think if we went down... probably to about there? Came forward, probably marginally more than the distance. Yeah, that should do the job. Oh no, run out of blocks. There we go. So that would be the rough internal space that I would give myself for the docking area. Hop in here. That means you could scoot forward a little. Turn yourself around.
That's what it's all about.
Go. And that would give the next ship ample opportunity to dock inside. Yeah, looks like it would. Yeah, I think that'll be fine for some kind of landing / docking zone. And then behind here, in this kind of entire area, both here, here, and up here, I can do an engine zone. Crew quarters, I think I'll probably have ahead of these docking areas. So you probably come through a central door here into a crew zone. Well, probably a disembarkation zone with armour stuff. You know, armour lockers and the like, some cargo boxes. Then a crew zone, which is a living area. And then at the head, I'll probably do some additional storage. But, as I've said, I've been live for more than 2 hours now, so I've got to stop this time. Hopefully I'll have something a little bit more of this to show in a couple of days. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I started, and I'm really just starting to get the idea of exactly what I want to do in my head. I knew I was inspired by the engine profile on the ship that I showed in the picture, and I think I've kind of achieved what I wanted to go for there. I'm fairly happy with that engine profile. It's just a matter of mating that engine profile with kind of a long and what I want to be relatively sleek design now, with a good amount of weapons on. So keep your eyes out. It'll probably take me a few days to get this fully done, because there are various other programs that I need to do in the meantime. But I'll show this off once I'm done. Alpaca, thanks so much for joining me, and thanks for spawning this amazing thing in.
Not a problem. It's my pleasure. It's always been a pleasure to have play some games with you. So this has just been a fun all around.
Have you got any other Star Wars things that you want to show off before we leave the stream?
I would. Okay, hang on. Let me.
I've probably got one or two hiding.
Seconds. Yeah, it's because my game crashed as I was trying to spawn a block.
Whoops.
Yeah, so just give me like 2 seconds. I'll spawn back in, and then I'll a few ships that I can show off.
I'll spawn some of my creations. Show you a couple of things that I've made in the past. I made myself a little skip ray blast boat. Lovely little thing. Relatively manoeuvrable.
Alright, here we go. Back in.
How's that docking bay of yours? Oh, you've got a U-wing there, I see.
Yes, I did. That is one from the wing or the workshop. I re-customized the colors. Just I changed it from blue to yellow on the highlights. But I also added in a warp core. The original did not come with a warp core, so I snuck it in to this little raised area in the back.
I see
so
it.
now it has the capability to warp. So it's so I modified that one. And then I did the same thing to this ship here. It's a Black Sun style ship. I can't remember the name. I can't pronounce the name. I guess is the better option.
Skike? Oh no, this is the Rishak.
Yeah, exactly. What he said. So I retextured it just to make it look a little bit more sharp, and then I snuck in. I re-Tetrised the interiors to allow a warp core to fit in there as well.
That's nice. That's really nice.
And one thing I actually really like is that I was able to, when I re-Tetrised everything, I did not delete anything other than extra blocks. I made sure that I put everything I took out back. I just rejigged them around to make them work, keeping the same general outside shape.
What do you think of my handsome little skip ray blast boat?
It is very, very cute.
Look at that!
And then,
Look at that!
nice, nice.
Also, you can use this lever to get at the things you need.
I say my pride and joy is my my big capital ship that I kind of redesigned the interior and a bit of the exterior. It's another workshop item. It's called, or I call it the Manticore. I can't remember the name of the workshop item, but it originally had a heck of a lot less turrets on it. I spammed turrets all over the place. Made it a real fighter. I completely redid the entire hull to be combat steel, which it wasn't. That was a pain. Added extra flat cannons on the side and the space for them. I removed 2 of the rear fins out of the back and put in larger engines on the back.
I don't think that was necessary for you to do, but I like the effect it's created.
Yeah. Then I also retextured the fins so they have that lighting to them. And then I completely gutted the interior and redesigned it from the ground up. So I just emptied the entire ship out to about the 1 block on the outside shell, and then I rebuilt it in. I double layered it, so there's 3 layers of armor, and then I redesigned every single room. And I mean, some of the rooms are pretty bare. They're not the nicest, but it was meant to be a more functional combat.
I feel like you've kind of done yourself a bit of a disservice with the amount of grow lights that you've got in here. You only need 1 grow light for every 9 blocks.
Well then.
So if you were to place one centrally, in fact, almost exactly where your central lights are right now. So if you had one kind of in 1 block in the middle, and then every other block.
Oh, now I just lost the door. Oh, well, sorry.
Oops.
But yeah, either way.
A lot of fridges.
Yes.
Boy, you planning to have a lot of food.
Yep.
I like that. Hello, missus.
Yeah, just a lovely lady little friend. Working away.
My God, her brows are on fleek. Isn't that what you say to women these days? I don't know. Good amount of storage as well.
Very good.
What's wrong with this one?
I actually forgot it, and then I
thought you had some kind of master plan.
Yeah,
that's where I hide and ambush people who are trying to steal my shit.
Not a bad idea. And then this is the main bridge.
Nice, nice. And is it a similar recreation this side, or?
Yeah, exact same layout. I have med bay in the bottom and engine room up at the top. And then my warp core dead center. Lots of room for extra ships. Basically, it's a little aircraft, internal aircraft carrier.
I like it.
For all sorts of fun. Yeah, it's a fun ship. But my thing I love the most about it is just how insanely maneuverable it is for a ship of its size.
Well, you did a lot of work on the engines, didn't you?
Oh yeah, and here I'll fill it up, and yeah, there we go. Whee! Very maneuverable. Oh, and there's your ship.
The lucky Jawa
right.
herself.
You know what? I'm loading in some ammo, and I think you should do the same.
Why would you want to kill the lucky Jawa?
I think that would be a fitting end to the stream.
The lucky Jawa's got like 4 turrets on it. Are you mad?
I think that's perfect.
Hold on. I have something better. I haven't got anything better. I did something bad with the Gizka. I can no longer spawn it. Quick! Find something.
Look, you can always use that pinnacle. Or pinnace class.
Oh, I've actually got it as well. Interesting. I have a plan.
Alright. Oh, God.
I forgot how big this is. It's massive. It's so big. I can't remember how to get to the bridge either. This is an impressive ship, though. Have you ever taken a look at this one?
Yes, I have.
It's beautiful. I mean, not very practical at all. And horrible internal lighting.
Spawn your ammo.
No! I'm not there yet. Have to find the bridge. What does it come under? I've made it to the bridge, and I just need to work out what ammo I need.
Top bridge?
Hey, no! Don't you do it! I haven't got any ammo yet. I seen you. I seen the way you've been eyeing me up. Yeah, people do that with me. They're like, what the fuck? Ah. You'll have to forgive me, I'm a little bit confused about things. It's not pistol rounds I want, is it? No. We need to move a little bit away from the basey bit. Otherwise terrible things will happen and I want to save this.
Alright.
Trying to turn. Oh. I'm going to get absolutely bloody mullered. Right, so I presume that we have to make our own factions, do we? Let's do that. Create. There we go. I've made my own faction. I think if you do the same thing, we can then set each other as enemy, and you can shoot this beautiful ship. Because this ship is not winning. The epic music stopped. What happened?
You ready?
No, no, no. I need epic music. This should do.
Okay, let me just double check, make sure all of my ammo is there. Okay, for some reason, I'm missing some laser charges too. So just give me a second here.
Alright, you ready for this?
Almost. Hang on. I'm looking for my laser charges that I'm missing here.
Is that happening?
There we go. Okay, I'm ready.
Ah, I don't even know if we actually shoot each other, do we? Uh-oh. I don't think I'm shooting at you.
Yeah, I don't think we're enemies in this one.
I'm not sure how you can make us so. Hang on, let's try and work it out.
Yeah, alright. Oh, you know what? I think I know what it is. Yep.
Go on.
This area is a non-PvP zone.
Oh.
So we just need to warp somewhere.
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to need to get some pentaxid. This explains much.
That it does.
Right, let's find a PvP zone. It doesn't really say whether they're PvE or not, though, does it? I'm not sure that there is a PvP zone in this.
Oh no.
Damn it! We'll have to shoot each other next time.
Ah, you lucked out.
I think I did. Hey Ice, I'm actually just about to go, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's only the 2 planets in this one, and both are PvE zones, I believe.
I'm just warping to the other one right now to take a look to see. Yeah, PvE. Oh, that's just poopy.
It is. Oh, I see you behind me. I should probably, if you guys haven't watched any of this, I should probably show you the transition between space and planetary before we leave. It's not smooth and seamless in the same way that certain other unfinished and probably forever unfinished games claim that they will do it. Did I train my Vorik? He's getting there. I mean, he's thinking about it. So as you get close to the atmosphere, you get an effect that kind of lets you know that terrible things are about to occur to your ship. And then you break through the mist into the atmosphere. I can't really tell how close I am to the ground because this ship is humongous. This is the... Vorek just said, I cannot be trained. I am my own Vorek. Here we go. I'll give people an idea of size. In fact, you know what we can do? We can actually... There we are. I stand on the floor, that should... Hello! Oh yeah? Oh, you're in trouble, mister. I'm gonna build blocks all over your ship. I think you can see me now. Fight a war with that on there. As you can see, folks, the ships can be utter... You're humping my ship. The ships in this can be absolutely humongous, and they don't really cause a performance impact as far as we can tell. Even the larger ones don't seem to have much of a problem, do they?
No.
They do have some fairly basic physics, really. They don't do anything interesting. You don't get the incredible block deformations and things being smashed into smithereens and flying off into space like you get with Space Engineers. But its simplicity leads to its stability, which is a nice thing for it. So, by the same page, you don't get the terrible frame drops that you get with Space Engineers. So it's kind of... both of them have very positive things about them and things that you perhaps would prefer to go without. But there you go, folks. That's going to be it for the day. I hope you've enjoyed this silly little stream. And you'll come back and watch more Empyrion. Oh, no!
You will suffer my blocks.
How dare you! Sorry, I needed more braking thrust anyway.
You want to joust?
Yes, I do. I can't lie. I would like that very much.
Jousting spear.
Well, thank you. I hope it's longer than my ship.
I'm making it longer than your ship. Whoa, watch it! You almost took me out with that thing.
Are you sure you want to do this? You know, this is going to lead to some weird behaviour.
Like, beyond me constructing a jousting rod off of your ship? Oh, apparently I'm too far away from the structure. I can't go any further than that.
Okay, we're going to have to short joust.
It is further than your ship, though.
Okay, it's good enough for me. I don't know how, but you've made my ship even more unwieldy.
I'll just let you joust into my ship because there's no way I'm going to get to it in time. It's so far away.
I would disagree with your statement. Oh God, I've leaned too much. Oh, my arm's getting tired from just trying to turn this thing. Oh, I hit the ground. P.S. Not meant for atmospheric flight. Am I just dragging the ship along the ground? No, I'm in flight. I don't even know where you are anymore.
I'm behind you, trying to get into my cockpit right now.
Nope, that's not a good... This is the slowest joust that there ever has been.
Where are you?
I don't know.
You're like, are you just going around the planet trying to catch me on the other side?
I don't. Where have you gone? Where are you?
I don't know.
Hang on, can you see him? I see you!
Oh, there it is. Ah!
Oh, I think I've hit the ground. Hold on. Reset, reset.
Too late, I'm committed.
I jousted into the ground.
See if you can get into my window.
Oh. Whose engines have the more power?
Oh,
Oh.
fine, easily. Oh god, it threw me. Oh my god.
Oh, the climb begins. Maybe if I do a loop the loop. I think we're eternally stuck together now, aren't we? Yep. Alright, which way is up to you?
My left.
Alright, so... go that way with your engines.
Try. I'm attached. There you go. I've almost got it. Keep going. Keep twisting. Go right. Go right.
I can't go backwards anymore. I can go forwards.
Rotate your ship to the left. To your left.
It won't go. I'm not allowed out the cockpit either. Oh, I am! Freedom is mine!
Your damn blocks have locked me in.
And that's how babies are made, says Canajo. I'm gonna go and play with some toy dinosaurs.
Leaf in the wind. Actually, this feels a little familiar if you catch my drift.
It does.
Oh man, this hurts. Oh, I think I'm gonna get free. I'm free! I'm free! I think this is going.
What a magnificent wiggle that was.
Oh man.
This Serenity class is, well, the Firefly class is so much fun to drive. Drive, fly. You should try flying one of these, it's great.
I will.
It's probably got more RCS than it should have. Are you trying to back it up onto my jousting lance?
Maybe. I have to open my cargo bay doors.
Oh.
Well, it seems like blocks can't go past force fields, unfortunately.
Hang on, I'm looking for Kaylee. I cannot find her. Is there a UNSC Pelican? More than likely. I don't have it, sadly. Right, folks. Yeah, we were supposed to end the stream about 15 minutes ago, but I got all tied up in looking around the Serenity.
And with my ship.
And, yeah, quite literally all tied. What you doing up there? Oh, it's just stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in the next stream. I'm not sure what it'll be. It's always a good idea for you to tell me what you would like to see on stream, because I will try and accommodate your wishes. You know, roughly. Unless you suggest something that I don't like. Or that I don't want to play. Or that doesn't suit me. So, yeah. I'm really... No! You're like that bloody ginger woman! So Mal's wife, is it? It's really fun to fly, isn't it?
Oh no.
That's is that one called the really crazy Ivan? Folks, I'll see you soon. Have a good evening.
Yeah.